Today's like goal is 4,100 likes. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Your likes and comments are the only thing I need to keep going. Now, let's continue. The episode kicks off with Oren standing in the tomato farm, plucking tomatoes one by one. He's holding a tomato in his hand, his face sad and droopy, clearly deep in thought. Depression hits him hard as he reflects on how things have spiraled out of control. Oren moves to another tomato tree, breaking off a tomato, still lost in his thoughts. He mutters to himself, realizing that Theo is actually a subordinate of the Black Dragon, and yet he had no idea. Oren had once bragged to Theo that he'd become friends with the Minotaur King and would rule the tower. But now, he's not even a subordinate anymore. He's practically a slave. As he broods, Oren's face turns red with frustration and shame. The thought of being treated as a slave instead of an ally haunts him. Just then, wham! Someone slaps him on the back of the head, and the slap is so hard, Oren's tongue hangs out of his mouth. Oren screams angrily, demanding, "Who hit me?" And of course, it's Theo. Theo stands there, hands on his hips, with a smug look, and screams at Oren. "What do you think you're doing, spacing out like that?" Theo tells him to hurry up and finish the work. Up to now, Oren's only picked a measly 3 tomatoes. Oren's blood boils, and the veins on his forehead begin to bulge. Theo continues to berate him, saying that Oren must come to him immediately whenever he's called. Oren can't take it anymore, his face twisted with anger. He grabs Theo by the collar and screams right in his face, "I'm not your slave!" But before Oren can finish his sentence, the Wolf Chief arrives, glaring at him with death in his eyes. One wrong move, one wrong word from Oren, and the Wolf Chief looks like he's ready to eat him raw. The sight of the Wolf Chief instantly freezes Oren in place, his heart racing. Theo, ever the smug one, turns to Oren with a condescending smirk and asks, "What were you going to say, Oren, huh? What are you gonna do if I talk loudly again? You gonna go against me, the head of the distribution unit, the subordinate of the Great Black Dragon?" Oren's fear overtakes him, and he's silent. He freezes in place, unable to move or speak. But just a few moments later, Oren's personality flips. A 180-degree change. He plasters on a fake smile and starts speaking in a polite tone. He explains that it was all just a misunderstanding. He tells Theo that he thought it was a bug bothering him, and that's why he reacted angrily. He apologizes, saying he'd never dream of daring to touch someone as great as Theo, the legendary merchant. The Wolf Chief, satisfied with the explanation, takes a deep breath and walks away. Oren, though deeply ashamed, forces himself to play along and bows down, laughing nervously as he agrees with Theo's every word. Theo, with a smug laugh, tells Oren to behave or things will go very badly for him in the future. Oren, still trying to hide his fear, calls Theo sir and promises to do exactly as he says. Meanwhile, Theo checks in with lackey number 1 and lackey number 2, asking if they've finished their work. Both lackeys, standing straight and respectful, tell Theo that they've filled their bags with cherry tomatoes. Oren, who's been trailing behind, also fills his bag and follows Theo with tears in his eyes. The anger bubbling inside him makes him want to slap Theo, but he knows he can't. Theo, clearly pleased with the lackeys, praises them for finishing their work so quickly and showing him proper respect. In fact, Theo's so impressed that he announces that he's going to reduce their contract period because of their great behavior. Lackey number 1 and number 2 are overjoyed, thanking Theo with the utmost respect. But Oren's shocked. He blurts out, asking if his contract period will be shortened as well. Theo looks at Oren for a moment and then smirks. He points out that Oren was the last to finish his work, often slacking off and getting distracted. Because of this, Theo announces that Oren's contract period will actually be increased by 1 day. Oren's devastated. He screams in frustration, shouting, "You can't do this, Theo!" But Theo ignores his tantrum, simply ordering Oren to get his bag packed because they're leaving soon. Theo, keeping his cool, mentions that he's already prepared everything, including his new intern, and they're ready to move out. Meanwhile, Oren, still reeling from the humiliation, is holding his mouth and crying loudly, unable to accept the cruel twist of fate. After that, Theo mentions that everything else is fine, but there's only one problem. The bag next to Oren and his lackeys is so old that it can't even hold more than 15 pieces of cherry tomatoes. Seo-jun laughs and says, "Next time when they head down the tower, take more storage bags for them. Seo-jun will cover the cost." Then Theo notices that Seo-jun is prepping for something. He gets curious and asks, "Yo, everything okay? Where you heading, Seo-jun?" With a confident grin, Seo-jun responds, "Yeah, I'm gearing up for a trip to the West Forest." As soon as Theo hears the name West Forest, he freezes. His mind races, realizing that the West Forest is where the ENTs live. Theo starts freaking out. Mommy Bear and Baby Bear suddenly stand behind Seo-jun, and we see Theo frantically patting Seo-jun's face, his cheeks squished from the pressure. Shouting in anger, Theo demands, "You're leaving me behind to go alone? It's dangerous, man! What's wrong with you going there without me?" Theo keeps repeating himself, his voice growing more desperate with every word. He's convinced that Seo-jun's plan to go without him is reckless. And while he's still pressing Seo-jun's face with all his might, Seo-jun tries to respond but can only mumble through his squished cheeks. Frustrated, Seo-jun finally gets a word in and snaps, "Mommy Bear and Baby Bear are coming with me. Do you really think they can't protect me?" He glares at Theo, while Baby Bear, mouth wide open, is giving Theo the death stare, thinking Theo doesn't trust them. Seo-jun adjusts his straw hat with a smirk and explains that even if Mommy Bear and Baby Bear weren't coming, he'd be fine. He confidently boasts that he has a secret weapon that can handle all the corrupted trees alone. Hearing this, Theo pauses, his eyes wide, before suddenly jumping down from Seo-jun's shoulder. Theo, now a little ticked off, grumbles that he trusts Mommy Bear and Baby Bear. But deep down, he's still mad at those corrupted trees and really wants to destroy some of them himself. He admits that he wants revenge on those trees, which is why he insisted on tagging along. As Theo sulks, the Wolf Chief chimes in, recalling that Theo had once mentioned how much he enjoys killing corrupted trees. Theo freezes, realizing his secret is out. He doesn't say a word, while Seo-jun just stares at him with that "I knew it" look. Trying to save face, Theo quickly turns to Seo-jun and with a determined tone pleads with him. He insists that he's genuinely worried about Seo-jun and really wants to help. He repeatedly begs to come along, but Seo-jun, staying firm, refuses. He reminds Theo that since he's now the head of the distribution unit and has 3 new interns working under him, he needs to focus on training them. Seo-jun teases Theo, asking, "How are you going to become CEO in the future if you're slacking off?" Theo, steaming, takes a deep breath, clearly frustrated, but knowing Seo-jun is right. Grumbling, he says, "Okay, fine." Even though he doesn't want to, Theo agrees to head down and handle the business of selling cherry tomatoes and other goods. Both wolves, sensing Theo's mood, get ready for their descent. After that, Theo comes up to Seo-jun and says his last goodbye. This time, Theo is genuine, telling Seo-jun to try not to get injured. He promises Baby Bear that he'll protect Seo-jun, but Baby Bear, with a confident look, responds, "Even if I get injured, I won't let anything happen to Seo-jun, so Theo doesn't have to worry." With that, Theo and Oren start their journey to the floor below. Theo turns back, waving, saying goodbye to Seo-jun, Baby Bear, and Mommy Bear. Seo-jun, along with Baby Bear and Mommy Bear, waves back, bidding their goodbyes. While everyone is smiling, the only one who isn't thrilled is Oren, still looking depressed as he walks ahead, his head hanging low. As soon as Theo and his group disappear into the distance, Seo-jun looks at Mommy Bear and Baby Bear. "Well, looks like it's time to head to the Western Forest," he says with a determined tone. Both Baby Bear and Mommy Bear nod, ready to face whatever comes their way. The scene shifts, and now we're in the dark, gloomy, and creepy Western Forest. Seo-jun, Mommy Bear, and Baby Bear cautiously move forward, their footsteps soft as they press into the eerie ground. Seo-jun is quick to notice how unsettling the atmosphere is. Everything about the place gives off an unsettling, ominous vibe. It's way creepier than he imagined. After a while, they come across a tree, bent in a strange, unnatural way. It's covered in a slimy texture, and there's an eye and mouth carved into it, making it look like it might wake up at any moment and devour them. Seo-jun, with wide eyes, comments that these trees look alive, like they were once living creatures and now they're dead, screaming for help. But Baby Bear? Baby Bear's thinking something else entirely. Holding his nose, he complains, "Man, this smell is so bad, I feel like I'm gonna puke." Suddenly, Mommy Bear calls out to Seo-jun. Her growl echoes through the forest, and her eyes begin to glow. In a deep, guttural voice, she says, "The enemies are here!" Before them, a huge army of corrupted trees stands menacingly. But these aren't just any corrupted trees. No, these ones have the same creepy, slimy texture, with eyes and mouths that seem to be crying for help. Seo-jun, Baby Bear, and Mommy Bear stand ready to fight, but Seo-jun is confused. He glances around left and right, saying, "I don't see anything. They look like normal creepy trees. Where are the enemies?" As Seo-jun steps forward, about to investigate, Mommy Bear stops him. telling him he can't go any further. Seo-jun is about to ask why when suddenly the branch of a nearby tree shakes violently as if it's alive. Seo-jun, startled, screams in fear. Then, in an instant, all the creepy trees begin to come alive, with slimy tentacles bursting from their jagged jaws. The whole forest floor begins to move, as if it's crawling. Tentacles shoot out from every rotten, corrupted tree, writhing and creeping forward. The system suddenly notifies Seo-jun that these are indeed rotten, corrupted trees. Seo-jun, now terrified, shouts, "What the hell is this new nightmare? These trees look like zombies." Baby Bear, pinching his nose, groans, "The smell is so gross, I'm gonna puke." Meanwhile, Mommy Bear is silently watching the slimy mess, ready to defend. Just as a tentacle from the nearest rotten corrupted tree lashes out to attack Seo-jun, Mommy Bear steps in and destroys it with a single punch, saving him. But it doesn't stop there. The next moment, from the deepest hole of the rotten tree, multiple slimy tentacles come out and grab Mommy Bear. Around her neck, her hands, and God knows where else. The tentacles were slimy, sticking to her so tightly that she couldn't move. Slowly, her energy began to drain as the rotten trees sucked Mommy Bear dry. Seeing this, Seo-jun got furious. How dare something else try to take down Mommy Bear? Seo-jun threw his straw hat to the side, pulling out his dagger and hatchet, gripping them both in his hands. With a confident smile, he stood tall, and a small flame flickered to life on top of his head. He was ready, giving off serious protagonist vibes. But before he could strike, Baby Bear panicked, running up to Seo-jun and putting his hands on his head, extinguishing the flame. Baby Bear thought Seo-jun's head was on fire and was desperately trying to put it out. "Seo-jun's gonna burn!" Baby Bear shouted, terrified. Seo-jun, startled, quickly explained to Baby Bear that he was fine, that he had lit the flame and it wasn't going to burn him. It was a gift from the apple tree, and now he had the ability to control flame. He hurriedly reassured Baby Bear that this wasn't the time to explain in detail. He'd explain later. For now, they needed to save Mommy Bear. Seeing that Seo-jun could control the flame, Baby Bear got excited. Seo-jun then clashed his hatchet and dagger together, creating a small spark. With focus and control, he made the spark grow into a massive flame, twisting it into a tornado of fire. Seo-jun then hurled the flame tornado toward the rotten trees, and suddenly, the trees began to turn to ash. The slimy tentacles weakened as the trees burned, and finally, Mommy Bear was freed from their grasp. But it wasn't over yet. Even though the rotten trees were burning, they were still alive and coming for them. Seo-jun could see they'd burn to death soon. But if they reached him and Mommy Bear before that, they could still be in danger. The burning trees chased them, their rotting bodies still crawling forward, but to go up in flames. Just as they thought they were safe, a new horde of rotten trees appeared in front of them. They were surrounded, burning trees from behind, fresh ones ahead. Mommy Bear suddenly had an idea. She turned to Seo-jun and asked, "Can you make that flame again? I have a plan." Without hesitation, Seo-jun clashed his weapons together again, creating another spark. This time, Baby Bear jumped up, caught the flame between his hands, and pushed it, making it 100 times bigger. With all his might, Baby Bear hurled the enormous flame at the trees in front of them. The blast wave was so strong that even the Minotaur King felt it from afar. In Seo-jun's cave, all the rabbits felt the shock wave too, growing tense as they saw the huge cloud of smoke rising from the distance. The husband rabbit reassured everyone, saying, "That explosion definitely came from Seo-jun's flame. Whatever it is, Seo-jun should be fine." As the smoke cleared, Seo-jun, Mommy Bear, and Baby Bear emerged, victory smiles on their faces. They'd won. Covered in soot but unharmed, they returned to the cave, greeted with cheers from everyone. The scene shifts to later, where Seo-jun is bathing and drinking water, while Baby Bear sips on the special juice from the queen bee. Sitting in front of the fire, Seo-jun says a heartfelt "thank you" to the flame, acknowledging that without it, they wouldn't have been able to destroy the corrupted trees. The flame responds, saying there's no need to thank him. He belongs to Seo-jun and will always listen to his commands. Husband Rabbit, standing nearby, chimes in, "Even though you've destroyed the trees, Seo-jun, you were reckless this time. What if something had happened to you?" Seo-jun, taking a deep breath, explains that he was worried about the corrupted trees constantly approaching. It was only a matter of time before they became a bigger threat. "That's why I decided to end it," he says. The sweet moment between Seo-jun and Husband Rabbit is interrupted by a system notification. Seo-jun's beekeeping level has upgraded to level 3. But before Seo-jun can celebrate, all three queen bees approach him, eagerly calling his name. Seo-jun, surprised, turned around, confused, asking, "What's the special occasion?" "Wow, all the queen came to see me." Then out of nowhere, all three queen bees came forward, each with a goddamn smile on their faces. One of the queen bees, looking mysterious as ever, asked Seo-jun for his juice. Seo-jun, shocked, couldn't believe what he just heard. "Wait, what?" he almost shouted, his face turning red with embarrassment. But then the queen bee quickly explained, calming the situation down. She said they wanted to make a special jelly, something that would make Seo-jun stronger. Hearing this, Seo-jun's shock turned into curiosity. And with that, the episode ends. Don't forget to write "next incher" in the comments and hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel. Goodbye.